the interwebs, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a walk talk, and as you can see I'm joined by this little doggy. She's literally been my shadow today, which is very unusual for her. Back to the topic. As most of you know, me and Elizabeth do what we're reading, which is a monthly Wattpad book club, and this is the book we did for the month of May, which was Cupid's Match by LEPalphreyman. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but the link to the book and the author's profile will be in the description below. As always, I like to do an individual review because that's just who I am. So let's get started before I start rambling. So this is the non-spoilery section where I'll kind of summarise what's going on. This book was what I found really interesting. So this book centres around the fact that there is this kind of matchmaking service called Cupids, which go out and they make situations happen so you can find your soulmate. And our main character, Lila, I don't know how to pronounce that because there's the British way and the American way, she gets matched with Cupid himself, which causes a whole load of trouble, let's just say that. But what I really enjoyed about this while reading it, non-spoilery section, is the world building and the thought that was being put into this kind of very unusual idea, which clearly a lot of thought has been put into it, and a lot of people have enjoyed by the fact it is quite a popular book on Wattpad, and it is now a CW stream show, Seed show. I don't know what that means. I'm from the UK, we don't have the CW, but that just shows that this is well deserved for all it's getting. It's a really well thought out world. The characters are really well thought out as well. Quite a lot of you who follow this channel know that I am a very big character person. At the end of the day, I feel like you have to have good characters, otherwise there's no point in the story. This all the way through, the main character especially, Lila Black, she was so strong. She had such a good strength within her, especially seeing as she was this normal person who kind of got thrust into this mythological world. She was very strong and she never once backed out, and a lot of the time I think because she did that she got a lot of respect from the people around her. Other than that, there were so many good dynamics going on that was really interesting, and something both me and Elizabeth picked up on in the live stream that we've already filmed, it's coming out next week, was that the plot is done in such a way where you're never really bored, which is always welcome in books. Like, now and again there is a book that has a really dull moment, but this book, starts off with that you think it's going to be a high school drama, and then it becomes so much more than that, and it never lulls and it never is dull, and it just kind of, the ante keeps upping until like the final boss battle. And I really enjoyed that because never once were you bored. I was gonna say, what I loved about was the information within the world. It wasn't just thrust upon you. Obviously you were learning with Lila, but like Cupid and Cal and Crystal, they were all talking about things as if they were the norm, because to them it would be the norm. And it was one of these things that even they didn't explain it to Lila, and it was one of these things she had to figure out herself and the audience had to figure out with her, and I really enjoyed that. So yes, the characters are phenomenal, the plot was phenomenal. It wasn't my cup of tea as a book personally, but you have to read that kind of thing to know it. I like a good romance, but at the same time there was so much going on here which I liked, but I don't think I'll be reading book 2, but you should. So yes, I really thoroughly enjoyed the book and I would highly recommend it for everyone to give it a try. The link will be in the description, and I'm now going to go into the spoiler section because I've been so close to spoiling this 3 or 4 times now. So yeah, so if you don't want to get spoiled, please go away, read the book, come back. If you really don't care, then you can just sit and watch me have a good wee discussion with a camera then. And the dog makes me feel like I'm somewhat sane because I'm talking to her. Who's that? Yeah? We're going to spoilers now. It's spoilers now. You gotta tell them. Spoilers. Ta. Okay, if you're back, that means you either read the book or you really just don't care for reading it and you just want to hear my thoughts anyway. First things first. I thought for so long, all the way through that Layla was going to end up with Cal. Because there were so many hints where like Cupid was this stereotypical bad boy. And though he did care about Leela, he never really proved that he did at the beginning, at the very beginning. Like when they were, well, it was more part 2 after she got, yeah, part 2. Yeah, that works. But Cupid was like, I don't know, I never felt for him until later on. And all the way through, like Cal was saving her life in a simulator. He was looking out for her. He went to the school and all that. And it was just one of those, all the way through I was like, are they going to end up together? And there was a moment at this high school dance when they were dancing together where I was like, oh, it's possible. And then it didn't happen. So that was my personal, they were kind of like that. And then Cupid kind of stepped it up and I was kind of like, okay, they're quite cute together. But I still think there was more spark with Cal. I'm not saying Cupid was a bad idea. Like, they work together clearly. But I don't know, personally, I think she would be better with Cal. Talking about Cal, the minute that they introduced that Cal and Cupid were brothers was the minute I was like, okay, the ultimate baddie is going to be one of their parents. And I didn't know if it was their mother or their father, and this was confirmed when they were talking about how if Cupid and his match got together, then the big the boss would come back, the founder, I had to check my notes there, would come back. And the minute they said that, it confirmed me, okay, it's going to be a parent. I didn't know how, but I loved Venus and how it was Venus and she was Aphrodite, and it was like, it made so much sense. And it was just one of those, I was like, oh, this is happening. But her as a character, did anyone else get so surprised at how she acted as a character? She literally was acting like a spoiled 5-year-old, which was such a subversion of what I was thinking. I completely thought she was going to be like this god, like Thor, talking like, you know, the Thor movies, the first 2, he talks properly because he's a god and he has respect and blah, 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 blah. That's kind of how I was expecting her to be. And I love the fact that she wasn't that. She was still very scary, very intimidating, like a really good last big boss battle. But her as a character, being like this 5-year-old spoiled brat girl, was just such a good subversion, English. And it made me laugh to start with, and it made me question, and it was just, you know, when you're not expecting something, you get, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. This book was really good for like doing the unexpected. I loved all the mythological stuff, like the sirens and the labyrinth with the Minotaur and Pandora's box, and how they had to go through all that. And it was just, I'm a huge lover of mythology and putting that into stories, and I love reading how other people interpret it and how they want to put it in their stories, and they change it a little bit. And this was another time when as soon as this started happening, that's when the book got me hooked. Like when they started adding this mythological stuff, like you totally reading the first maybe 2 not the first 2 chapters, it was kind of divided into parts. So as soon as it got to about the parts with like part 2 and part 2, when they were talking to like the sirens and everything, that's when that was me officially hooked into the book, because of me personally, I like all the mythological stuff. So that was something I absolutely found phenomenal. The world building, yeah, I kind of touched upon this in the non-spoiler part, but you can so tell how much love and thought has been put into this. Like the whole arrows system, with the 3 different arrows doing 3 different things. And then the arrows from the European were a bit more vicious, and they were after Cupid because at the end of the day they didn't want the founder to come back, and then they had to find like the Phileas arrow, and it was just the quest. What they had to do was set out very early, and it was all the twists and turns and learning about the world that just made the book so interesting, and so it was one of these, I loved the depth in it, and it was up there with like Harry Potter world building wise. And I think the world building and learning a bit more about like the mythology stuff would be the only reason why I'd read book 2. So yeah, if you love that kind of world building, 100% go through it. It's very much what makes it work, in my opinion. It's the characters are never questioning it. The ones who are meant to know about the world, so the Cupids, they know what they're doing. They're true to what they need to do. Leela's the one that obviously we're following and she's questioning everything. But no one else is questioning it, which is great and which is something I love. It'd be good to now thrust maybe something they don't even know about and they have to learn about as well. That's cool. Characters wise, Leela, I love her so much. She was such a good main character and I think she was my favourite character overall, which is quite surprising because other than maybe one other series that I've read, the main character is never my favourite character. I normally either go with the side friend or something like that. But she was such a true to herself person. She was very strong, as I said, and I really liked her for that. Obviously there was parts where she wanted to slap her because you're like, what are you doing? Dancing with Cal. But other than that, it was really good. Crystal was a character that really, I loved her but I hated her at the same time. Out of all the characters, she was the one I felt most emotions for, because at the beginning you thought she was just this stereotypical like receptionist, blah 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 blah. And then when she arrived at the town, I instantly knew something was going to be happening to Leela's boyfriend and she was involved with it. She was going to play Cupid and I really, really hated her for that. Like so much so. I was really not happy with her. So when she saved Leela from Charlie, I was kind of like, what's just happened? I meant to hate you. What is going on? And then she came back round again and there was so much depth to her character. There's so much history and I was just so, I think she was my second favourite character after Leela, but it was just one of those, so much was going on with her and I absolutely fell in love with the character after all that, after the hatred and everything. But it was just one of those, I was so fascinated by her and I was so amazed in like the best way possible at how much depth her character has. The dog started snoring. Yay! Charlie, that was another character I really enjoyed because she wasn't the stereotypical best friend. She kind of was set up to be the stereotypical, she would be the one that you needed to obviously get James out of the way for Leela to be with Cupid, and I kind of was like, oh gosh, is this going to happen? Are James and Charlie going to be a thing and she's going to catch them, which did happen, and my heart went out for Leela when I saw that. But then she turned around and Charlie very much was on her friend's side and she wanted to apologise, and then the whole thing where she became a Cupid, was not expecting that. Like clearly Leela contacted her friend because she was like, I need someone I can talk to, who I can trust. I need someone, I need my best friend. And then when she went to Charlie and Charlie completely just turned on her, I physically gasped. I was on a train and I gasped out loud and I was just not expecting it, and there was a lot of emotion from me internally because I was in public and I'm not going to cry. Well, I'm not going to cry in public yet. I have done over books, I have. But it was just one of those, that was a completely 360, and then she became good again and she's still a Cupid, and it was just one of these, it was so nice to see her be more of a more part of the story, a bigger part of the story. I think the best thing about the writing in this is all the characters have depth. They all feel like people. They all feel like an actual person. They actually feel like a character. They're not just there to like tick off the boxes of I have this character, I have this, I have this. There's so much more. There's so many layers behind them all, and I absolutely love that about them. So yeah. Oh, I hated Cal towards the end. I need to talk about this. Cal's betrayal, I guess, at the end. 100%. When like the army was coming and then the Cal turned on them and then all that, from that minute on I did not trust Cal. Though they had like the whole like simulator thing they had to do with him like watching them. did not trust him whatsoever, and still part of me doesn't trust him, and my heart breaks because I can't trust him. Like all the way through it, he had proved himself, and as I said at the beginning, I kind of thought him and Layla might end up together, but then that happened, and I just could not, I don't know, I just don't think I can ever forgive him, which is something. What do you think? What do you guys think? Do you trust him? But yeah, plot wise, what made this amazing, which I think Elizabeth agrees with me, because we were talking about it yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever we filmed, me and Elizabeth filmed, was the plot was never boring, it never lagged, and the more you learnt about the world, the more you wanted to learn about the world, and it was still grounded in realism, and that's the kind of stories I love. Love stories that are grounded in some sort of realism, because you could have gone anywhere with kind of this Cupid one, and I completely thought it was going to be some sort of high school drama, and I was so going to hate it going in, because I wasn't in the mood. You know, you have to be in a mood for a high school drama, but it was so much more to that, and the best thing is it doesn't give that away. Like in the description, it doesn't give away how much depth it has, and it's such a nice surprise for the reader, and the writer has just done an amazing job, so well done her. So guys, that's my review. If you liked hearing my thoughts, please tell me in the description box. If you have any Wattpad books you want to recommend to me, or any books in general you want me to read and give my thoughts on, please tell me as well in the description. Tomorrow When I Began series, I'm still reading. I've kind of went through an awkward period where I'm still living in boxes because I'm half moved out, half moved into my house again. So I'm kind of all over the place. And I've also started a new job, so we'll try to get time. It's interesting. But anyway, please subscribe to my channel if you like these kind of videos. I'm going to try and record more regularly now. I've kind of somewhat got a system going with like work schedules and everything. Please give this video a big like, and I will see you very soon. Bye! Mwah!